Started. All right, we are recording. I love seeing faces, and I am going to pull up a screen so that y'all can kind of see some of this stuff. I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself, but because I know that there are lots of new people that are here too. I was a teacher, and so I love to be able to give information and reach all the senses. I know that some people learn through auditory, some people need the visual, some people just want to be able to tune out and kind of imagine their own things. So I love being able to show y'all what we're talking about at the same time. But to kick it off, I'd love to know where you are tuning in from. So what state, if you want to give town, you can. It won't show up on the recording. But where you are tuning in from and who you have with you. I love that, Michelle, I can see your husband. I can see sweet Lucci. I love that no matter where we are and what we are doing, that we get to be present for our families. And I'll tell you just a little bit about how I got here, because some of y'all that are just tuning in for the first time, if you were a skeptic when you started this, drop that in the chat too. Like, drop a 1 if you were a skeptic when you started this. Drop a 2 if you're still a skeptic and you're like, I don't know why I'm here. I don't know why somebody invited me to this. I don't know what this girl is that they're talking about. Because that was me. That was when I started all of this. It was 5.5 years ago now, which seems crazy.
Throw this way.
I had been through the ringer with our health. I could talk to y'all for hours. And those of you that have been around here know that I get a little bit passionate about this stuff. Because I had 3 kids in 3 years. Not the plan, but God's plan. And I am super thankful now that it worked out that way. I was a school teacher. We live on a dairy farm in central Pennsylvania, and my health was a mess. I had been diagnosed with 4 different autoimmune disorders. Hashimoto's, thyroiditis. I was on medication. My numbers were through the roof. I was diagnosed with that when my oldest daughter was 6 weeks old. But when the year after I had her was kind of my crash year, I called it. My joints started swelling. I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, lupus. And then after my son was born, I was diagnosed with celiac disease. In the middle of all of that, my oldest daughter, who is 11 now, was diagnosed with over 30 different intolerances, anaphylactic allergies. Living on a dairy farm, we were basically told that we needed a bubble for her. And that was the straw that broke the camel's back, right? We know that we can go through a lot of stuff personally. And how many of y'all, drop a 3 in the comments if you have ever felt like you wake up in the morning and this is just the way that it's going to be for you, right? You are suffering. I had optical migraines. I would lose my vision. We just start to think that this is the way that it's going to be for us. We're always going to deal with having to take medication. I thought I was always going to have to deal with going to the doctor and having my joint strained. I thought we were always going to deal with Riley's allergies. But I also am a firm believer, and I know that everybody believes differently, and we accept all of that on our team. But I am somebody that believes that our bodies were designed to, right? That I did not want to resign to a life of living that I was struggling to get through the days, that I was looking forward to nap times way too much. And I also didn't love the fact that at the end of the month, there was always more month than there was money, right? There was always something else that came up, and it was stressful. It was stressful to wait for my teaching income to come in just to be able to get by with mortgages and everything that we had with kids. I'm a wanderlust. I love traveling. There was things that I wanted to be able to do. And I just started settling, not because I didn't love my life. Even with all of that stuff going on, I never felt like I didn't love where I was at. I just wanted to be okay wanting more. And so if you are here tonight, I am glad that you are here. We are going to open it up for questions at the end. If you have questions while we're going through this, we are open books. Like, there is not something that you can ask that I probably have not been asked before, or that I probably have not felt before. So if you want to, as you're listening, drop these things your questions in the comments. We'll open it up a little bit at the end. If you want to be a fly in the wall, 1000%, this journey is always yours. And our team is super, super respectful of that. So I'm going to bring up a little, I hate calling it a presentation, because if y'all hang out with us for a hot second, you'll see that we're not formal. I just spent time at the ball fields. I mean, y'all, I'll just let you in on a little secret right now. I'm already in sweatpants and pajama bottoms from the bottom down. Like, we are not formal on our team. The thing that we love about this is, like I said a couple of minutes ago, that everybody has a space at the table, and every single person has a story that can be told from wherever you're at. So drop anything that you have in the comments, but I'm going to bring up and share my screen and just kind of go through a little bit with you about what makes this opportunity different. Because if you're here, you have probably looked at options, right? Or you've thought about options, or you've seen the person that invited you to this and you've thought, that's great for them, but that won't happen for me. And I'm here to tell you that I've thought that before, but I also want you guys just for a couple of minutes to be really open-minded about this and just picture where you think maybe this has a space for you too. And so what I would love for you to do for just a couple of seconds right now, and you can think that I'm corny, I'm okay with that, but I just want you to close your eyes and think, if you could wake up tomorrow, if you could wake up 6 months from now, if you could wake up 6 years from now, where do you really picture your life? Because for so many of us, what ends up happening, and we talk a lot about this, is that we kind of start feeling like it's just the way that it has to be, right? That we're going to work for the next 40 years of our lives, that we're always going to be going for those quick fixes, that coffee, those energy drinks, the Tylenol to mask the headaches, that's just the way that it's going to be. And we're going to work to build somebody else's dreams for 40 years. And then at the end of that, maybe we'll have enough to be able to retire and travel a little bit. That was what I thought. That version is different for every single person. Maybe you have a job right now that you absolutely love. And maybe for you, isn't necessarily about leaving your job and being home with your kids. Maybe it's about just wanting a little bit extra, wanting to feel better, wanting at the end of the month to be able to put a little bit away or have those extracurricular for your kids. So for the next 15 minutes, I'm going to ask you to dream really big with me. Because when you find the right people and the right opportunity, and I went from an extreme skeptic, like I was that girl that would see posts and my eyes could not roll back further in my head. And I didn't want anything to do with it. And I was very open about not wanting anything to do with it, to the point where somebody would ask me and I would say, don't message me again. This isn't for me. Because I had gotten so skeptical because I had been burned so many times. If that's been you, if you've gotten your hopes up before, maybe that's a medication. That for me was a long time. Like I thought, this medication is going to fix things for me. And then it didn't. It just caused something else. If that's you, we hear you and we see you and we know what that's like. But the person that invited you to this, and we're going to talk a little bit about this, they didn't have to. They didn't have to invite you. They didn't have to reach out to you. They did it because they care about you and they see something in you that they know that this would be a really amazing fit. Because we don't have quotas, we don't have to post, we don't have to do any of those things. And so what I want you to do is just visualize what's your best self version. I was doing a little bit of research today and kind of doing some Googling and just seeing some different articles and reading. I love the science behind things. I love the research behind things. And these facts were crazy to me. I knew that they were there, but I just want you guys to keep this in mind as we're talking tonight. The last year has been crazy. Can I get an amen? Right? If somebody would have told us in January of 2020 that this is where we would be in April of 2021, I think that all of us would have been like, yeah, no, that will not happen. But here we are. And what happened over the last year was that over 37 million people looked at becoming part of home-based businesses. Why? Because we were all home, right? There were a lot of things that we couldn't do. We couldn't go out. A lot of people weren't working. But what ended up happening, bills still come in, right? We're adulting. It's not a fun part of life, but that's the reality, is that the bills kept coming in and people weren't working. And so they turned to, what does every single one of us have? A phone. And they started home-based businesses. This is the part that shocked me. And I knew that this was out here because I had been approached before Plexus. I had never been a part of a social selling company, but I had been approached with them before. And I had been approached where you had to buy in with $5,000. There was one company that was $10,000 to buy your inventory. I don't know about any of you guys, but I did not have that just sitting in a closet someplace waiting to invest, right? Or sitting in the bank waiting to invest. But then what they told us that we could do with one of them was, oh, you can put it on a credit card. And then you're going to get your inventory and then you can start sharing things. And as you sell, then you pay it off. And that stressed me out. The average cost to get off the ground in these home-based businesses is $3,000. There are some out there that are up to $30,000. I grew up with a brick and mortar business model. My dad has owned a business his entire life. I know the sweat and the tears and the things that have to go back into it. When you find the right online social selling company, you don't have that big investment. With Plexus right now, it says on there it's $19.95. You're actually watching this during a special where it's $9, not $30,000 or $3,000. Every 12 seconds, there are people that are looking for new at-home businesses models. And 70% of Americans surveyed said that they would rather be self-employed and work to build their own dreams than to work to build somebody else's. And I think that that's huge, because what do a lot of us want? We want to build the life that we love, right? We want to build that model where we have time freedom. And that to me was something that was huge. With 3 busy kids, I wanted that. I wanted to be present in the moments with them. So who is Plexus? Why are we here? I just love the background behind this company. And that was something that I knew that if I was going to start putting myself out there and talking to people about this, that I wanted to know who I was partnering with because my name was on it, right? We started as a breast health company, which is something that a lot of people do not know. There's a breast health check kit. And from there, we branched off into blood sugar balance because there's a huge correlation, body cream to help women that were going through therapy.
Very old, cracked, water damage, doesn't matter.
You're ready for something new.
Now, trade up to the 5G network.
Okay, I think we got it. It's okay. It happens quite often. We're based out of Scottsdale, Arizona. I love this part of it because we are debt free.
The first African American crewman on an extended mission on the International Space Station.
There. Okay. What I love about this is that we're a private owned company and we're debt free. And what that means and why that is important is because we don't have to answer to a board. There's not people that are coming in and telling us how to market and what we have to do. We get to decide how we invest our money. And in the network marketing world and in the vitamin world and in the health company world, that is huge. I don't know if y'all know this. One of the biggest things that I get back from people is I don't really think that I want to do that because it's not backed by the FDA. I hear you. I thought the same thing until I started doing research. Flintstone vitamins, not backed by the FDA. And they in fact say right on there, not intended for children under 18. Why? Because the FDA is food and drug, right? There are so many things that are on our shelves every single day that don't have to be backed by anything, that don't have to go through third-party clinical trials, that don't have the efficacy studies, that don't have any of the real science bases with the ingredients. Plexus actually takes money and invest in those third-party clinical trials. That's why we can say, you know, the triplex is proven to help with weight loss. We can say that the vital biome is proven to help with anxiety and depression. We can say that the MetaBurn is proven to help with weight and energy and mental clarity, because they've taken those products and they've put it to the test. And that was huge to me. I love that we have a 60-day back money guarantee. I love that when we're going to talk more about this, that we don't have minimums, that we don't have quotas, but this was something else that was really big to me. We have an A+ with the BBB, the Better Business Bureau. And a lot of people might not dig that deep. I dug that deep because I was super skeptical, right? I wanted to know what people were saying about the company. There are hundreds of companies out there that do not have an A+. Why you get an A+, customer service, satisfaction, having all of the things in place to give people what they really want. And when they told me that we'd have a 60-day back money guarantee, I thought, oh, that's perfect. I can get these people to stop talking about it and I can get my money back. And I love that the company believed in it enough that if that really needed to happen, I could have. 5.5 years later, I've never gotten my money back, but I have gotten my health back and so much more. Fastest growing company in the United States. And we are noted every single year. We just had one of the top awards for Arizona for the best places to work. And there are millions spent on philanthropic projects. We donate money and meals for every single lean shakes that are gone. There's so much behind this company, but I do love that everybody know who the company is and who we're backed by. Okay, what is Plexus? I hope that y'all can see this even with the screen. Let me see if that's better. All of our products are natural, non-GMO, gluten-free, soy-free. We do have a couple that have dairy in them with the lean that is dairy-based. We also have a vegan one, but Plexus is broken down into different categories. And so a lot of people think that when they see people posting about Plexus, that it can't be true, right? That there's no way that one company can address so many different issues, but it starts with your microbiome. And that leads into, we have gut health products, we have weight loss products, we have straight nutrition products. I have 3 kids, they're 7, 9, and 11. We have not been to a doctor in 5 years other than their kindergarten well child shots. That was unheard of for us. We have, so the Kids Essentials pack, and then we have a skincare line as well. And the nice part about this is that you don't have to have a testimony for every single one of these products to be able to share, right? I don't have a huge weight loss testimony. That wasn't something that I was going for when I started with Plexus, but there are a lot of people on our team that have incredible weight loss testimonies, depression testimonies, anxiety testimonies, because we work together to help each other rise up. And so I think that it's really important to know the outline of the company, but also that we really build each other up every single step of the way in this. Okay, this is what I loved when I started really looking into sharing. I didn't have a huge testimony. I started sharing even though I was really skeptical. I knew that my mom needed this because we're a sharing society, right? You find a restaurant that you love, you find a coupon that you love, and what do? You tell your friends about it. You find a pair of jeans that make your butt look good, you tell your girlfriends, right? That's what we do, we share things. And so I knew that my mom needed this. She suffered from fibromyalgia and Lyme's disease. I knew that my sister-in-law, we do life together. I wanted her to do this, and a couple of friends from high school that I had been talking to because we had talked about allergy issues, right? I knew that that was something that they were going through. And I did not want to be the person that if this worked for me in 6 months to have my friends be like, what's going on? Why are you feeling good? Why don't you need to go to the doctor anymore? And then when I told them, for them to say, why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you let me get going with this? So I never posted on Facebook. I just simply called a couple of people and told a couple of people through Messenger. Wendy is on here. She was one of the very first people that I told about it before I'd ever decided to post anything. And I loved that just with my own purchases, I got a little email that said like, you've made money. And I thought, oh, that's cute, right? Like, I guess I don't really understand this. but I didn't have to have required purchases. I didn't have an inventory. I did not have to do any parties. There was no quota and there was no stacking. Like I didn't have to worry about how people were ordering. I just got to send them my link, like a referral link, like everybody has, right? I just got to send them that referral link and then it got to help them. I had no idea I was making anything back until I got that first paycheck. And y'all, I won't ever forget it. It paid for our groceries that month and it paid for our electric bill that month. And that was huge for us because I had resigned from teaching. We had 3 kids under 5. I was working a vinyl Etsy shop, making decals in my basement after my kids went to bed at night. And my husband was getting up at 3:30, going down to the barn, doing chores, and then gone all day in the field. And that was life-changing for us. To have that stress lifted from his back was huge. And then I started thinking, okay, well, why not me? If this is something that could really work, it didn't matter how small our town was. It didn't matter with any of those other things. It really mattered that I could go out there and I could share some things with people that were going to help them too. I didn't have a full testimony and I loved that it didn't matter. So just a basic outline of how we get paid. And when I said that there was no stacking, we're not one of those companies where you have to have lots of levels, lots deep. If you've ever looked into network marketing as a whole, what Plexus awards us with is how close we are. And we can talk more about that if anybody has any questions about that. But I have actually been at like the in-home parties and people will pull out their trees and see where they need to put order so that they make money. And it felt like network marketing, right? It didn't feel good to feel like a number. When you join with this company, you won't ever feel like a number. You get a product that's going to help you and you get a team that's going to build you every single step of the way. And one of my favorite things is that you get paid 5 times a month. And my favorite part about that is getting messages from people. I just got one today because it's a Thursday. We get paid on Thursdays. And I got a message from somebody that was new that was on our team. And it was just a screenshot and it said, "Is this legit?" If you've ever gotten those, drop it in the comments because it is the best message to get because people don't realize that you can get actual money back just from your own orders. This wasn't even somebody that was new that was sharing. It was just from her own order. And she wanted to know if it was legit because Plexus pays you back. So there's a part on here that goes through some of the different ranks and how you can share with people. With just 3 people, you reach the first rank in our company, which is called Silver. And this month, there's extra bonuses for just 3 people this month. It's $380. And that's if you have 3 people start with you in your first 30 days. And we all know 3 people, right? I just told you from mine, it was my mom, my sister-in-law, and a couple of friends from high school. We've all have those people that we can think of that we're seeing every single day that are posting because they don't know how to get the extra energy. They don't know how to be present in the moments, or they don't want to have to go out and get a second job. This is just a basic outline of our ranks in our company. Our team is made up of hundreds of silvers and golds and senior golds, people that are just sharing and wanting other people to feel good, all the way up to senior rubies and diamond, which is an absolutely life-changing thing to be able to give back more than you can ever give back and to be able to know that that represents thousands and thousands of lives that would change. And what I would love for you to do just for a second, and we're almost done, is I would just love you to look at that. What on that chart would be an impact income for your family? What would lessen the stress? Is that for you? I remember as a silver, that first it was a little bit over $300, making that back and knowing that that was something that would absolutely change things for our family that month. Is it amazing to make $5,000 extra a month? Absolutely. But the margin of profit and income loss for people is $600. That's what separates most people from either being able to pay their bills at the end of the month or going into foreclosure and bankruptcy. $600. Silver with that 300, that 296 is 3 people. Sharing with your very close friends and family, and not even ever necessarily having to post on Facebook. You can, the sky's the limit, but we're here every single step of this to make sure that this is a fit for you. This is a picture of our team. Just last week, we had a girls' night out and went out to dinner, met at a town that's close to a lot of us, and then went to the Hatchet House. And I love this picture because it does not represent all 4,000 people that are on our team in terms of all 4,000 people being in the picture, but it represents us really well. We're stay-at-home moms, we're full-time working moms, both because people choose to and because people still have to. It's part-time working moms, we're teachers, we're counselors, former people that work in the corporate field. I mean, every doctors, we have everything that's represented on our team. But I know, and you guys can drop this in the comments, that the one thing that we are the most is that this team becomes friends and family. And I was never somebody that loved, if you would have told me at almost 37 years old that I would love to be around women every single day, I would have been like, that is a hard no. I cannot imagine being around that many women in the same spaces all the time. The beauty is you can be introverted, extroverted. You don't have to be around the people all the time. But once you're part of this, you want to, because it's a tribe that lifts other people up. We help each other every single step of the way because there's not competition. When you're in the right social selling place and when you're in the right part, there isn't competition. Every single person really can win in this. And I know that that sounds crazy because that's not how most models are built in this world, but it is how this is built. And so if you're here and you've been a part of this, I want you to just drop that in the comments, what that has meant to you to be part of this, what your favorite part is. And then as we close out, what I would love for you to just think about is, where do you want to be? You're going to be nervous. You're going to have some of those feelings like, I don't know. I don't know if this is something that I want to do. I don't know if this is something that I want to dive into. But I will tell you that outside of those comfort zones, the most amazing parts of my life have happened. Because you get to be with people that get you, that want to grow with you, and that give you that extra support and accountability from all over the country. I mean, I met people for the first time that I talked to every single day just last week. In 2 weeks, the 30 of us are going to Outer Banks together. I've never met half of the people that are going to be in that house. And I already know, I can see Vanessa's face. When I see that girl, I'm going to run and jump on her, right? Because I feel like I know her. And that's one of the best. She's probably like, oh my gosh, maybe I don't want to go, right? But that is truly one of the best parts about what we do. And so if you have questions, I know that it's almost 9 o'clock on the East Coast. And we don't want to take up all of your time because we value you and we know that life is busy. But if you have questions, you can stay on with us for a couple of minutes. We'll open it up for questions. If not, do not go to bed tonight or first thing tomorrow morning without your questions being answered. Because even through, I'm a firm believer that if you have that feeling like maybe I should go for this, maybe you've been taking the products for a while and you're like, I would love to be able to, but I don't know if I can. You can, and you're worth it. And we're here every single step of the way to help you with this. You do not do this by yourself. So reach out and ask. And if there is anybody here that is new, that is just wanting to get going with this, I want you to message the person that invited you to this and just message them, dream big. And then we will pay for your membership. So your membership will be completely free for the year. It's a lot like Amazon, Costco, if you guys have Sam's Clubs, where you get wholesale pricing for the year, and then you get to decide what you do with this. I think anybody on this team will tell you there is no pressure. If you want to join and you want to join just for the products, we're here for it. And if you want to join and you want to shoot all the way to the top and get everybody you know to do with you, we're here for it. And then everywhere in between. All right. I am honored that you are here. Drop your questions. If anybody wants to unmute, I will stop recording so that anybody can unmute and ask freely. And then we can continue the conversation there.